Welcome to the Python Learn Together, Code Together. Today we will see how to read the user data or the data which is given by the user in the Python and the if elif statement in the Python, that is a conditional statement. So first of all, we will open the Python interpreter, Python, and here in order to read the user data, that means whenever the Python asks the user to enter some data and it takes that data from the user, for that we are using a function called input, this function input and the parenthesis. So if I just type input and it asks the user to give some data and it has to store somewhere, so I should declare some variable before the input. So what I will do means a equals to input, okay, input, and I have to tell what it have to ask the user. Just if we type input, the computer has to ask the user something, give me, or some data you have to give, like that. So input, and here in the quotes I'm writing please enter a number, like this, okay. Then I will close this, and if I click enter, it will ask the user to please enter a number. So I'm entering my number as 4 and I will click enter. So now if we check the value of a, you can see just a, then a is equals to 4, because you can see a equals to input please enter a number, and we entered the number 4, okay. So the value of the a is 4, but we will see one, look at here, what I will do means b equals to input. So before input I will write int of input, and here please enter a number, same as the above sentence, but little bit I added, that is int, okay. Then I will close this, because this is the this bracket, and here I am closing this int, okay. Now I will click enter, okay, please enter a number. I will click 4 and I will click enter. Yeah, yeah, you can see, yeah, I think, yeah, b equals to please enter a number. I will enter now 5 and I will click enter, and please enter, yeah, okay, b, I need to print the value of b, okay. If I print the value of b, you can see it is 5, but here it is 4 in the quotes, that is single quote. Here a equals to input please enter a number, and then we entered a number as 4, but the Python treat it as a string. It treats our number 4 as a string, so it gives that output in the single quotes. That means it is telling that the 4 is the string. But in the second example, what we did means b equals to, we are typecasted. So from string, here input please enter a number, it is a string, it will return the string. So from that string we are casted to the int. This is called the typecasting. So here int of means whatever the string value the input function return, that will be converted to the integer. So here you can see when I print that, when I print the value of b, it is just 5, not it is giving in a string. So if you want to add any two numbers and subtract any two numbers, or any of the mathematical operation, we need integer. So we have to write this int of input, otherwise it is just a string. If we add some string, then you just see what I will do means, we will check what it will happen. I will do a equals to and here input enter a number, okay. Then I will click enter and it asks for the number, and I will click 2. Now the a is assigned with 2, that is the string 2. Then I will write b equals to input input, and here enter another number. Okay, like this I will write, and it asks for the another number. I will write 6. Okay, now what I will do means a plus b I will do, and I will click enter. You can see it is giving 26. I told about the string concatenation, so it treats this 2 and this another number 6 as a string, and it gives 2 6. So those two strings are added, but what we require means 2 plus 6, that's equal to 8. So for that the Python has to consider this number as an integer. So we have to write like a equals to int of input, that is reading from the user, and it has to convert that string to the integer value. So int input and enter a number, and I will click and okay. What I missed, yeah, it reads in a equals to int of input. Yeah, I missed the quotes because it is a string. So I will yeah, now I will click enter. It is asking enter a number. I'm writing here, it is a 5, and no, here it is 2 and 6. So that same number I'm writing here 2, and again I'm writing a b equals to int of input, and here enter another number. Okay, then I will close this, and another number I'm going to write as 6. Now you see, if I do a plus b, then it will give me the correct answer, that is 8, because it treats those two values as a string. In this way we can use the input function, that is some variable equals to input, and here something what you have to tell the user, the sentence that has to ask from the user, that one you have to write inside the quotes and just close it. So here it will display that whatever you write here, it will display that, and it asks the user to give some data, and it stores that data in this variable. Okay, this variable a. Like this we can use the input function. And now we will see about if statement. So if it is a conditional statement, for example, what I will do means I just ask the user to enter a number. Okay, so a equals to int and input, and here enter a number. Okay, if yeah it is correct, yeah, then it asks, the Python asks the user to enter a number. So I will write 5. Then what we will do means, in the if statement the syntax is like if okay, if a is greater than or equal to 0. This is the condition I'm using, greater than or equal to. You can use any conditions like equal to or not equal. It is like equal means a equal to some value 3. That means in normal it is like a and 3 will be compared, and if those two are equal then it is true, if those two are not equal then it is false, like that. A equal to 3, or a is not equal to, you can use that not equal and greater than or equal, or less than or equal, like that. Any condition less than, greater than, any condition you can use. So now I'm using if a is greater than or equals to 2, then just put on colon here, because the syntax is like this, and click enter. And here we should remember we need to follow the indentation in Python. That means the sentences whatever we are going to write is under the if statement. So if we write something here, the Python not come to understand whether this statement belongs to if statement or not. So we have to follow the indentation. That means just click a tab or give the 4 space, 1 2 3 4, or just click once the tab, and here write if a is greater than or 2, then print okay, instead of 2, okay, now here I can't able to change the previous line, so I will write print the number is greater than 2, like this I will write. Okay, you can write anything like positive number or negative number, like that, any differentiation you can make, and we can use this if statement and print the number is greater than 2. Then I will click enter, and the Python don't come to this in this Python interpreter, it not come to understand that our if statement is completed or not. So it we need to just leave one blank line to tell the Python that my if statement is completed. So if I click enter again, the number is greater than 2. It is printing the number is greater than 2 because it checks if a is greater than or equal to 2. Here my a value is 5. So the Python checks whether the 5 is greater than or equal to 2. Yeah, it is greater. That's why it is true. If it is true, it comes to the inside the if block and it prints whatever the statements, or it do the work whatever we write in this if block. So here the print the number is greater than 2. So that line is printed here. The number is greater than 2. And now what I will do means, okay, here b equals to int and input enter an integer. Okay, enter an integer, like this I will write, and I will click enter, and I will just write -4. Okay, and I will click enter. Now b is assigned with -4. Actually in Python, while developing any real programs like any calculator, any basic calculator, etc., we have to write all these statements in a single file, and we need to run that file. As I told in the previous video, we need to run that file. But since we are learning the statement now, I'm using this Python interactive interpreter. Okay, so here if we want to write the if statement, just write if our number, that is b, okay, no bracket, if b is greater than or equals to, no, if b is greater than 0, if b is okay, if b is greater than 0, then just give to colon and click enter, and here maintain some indentation, that means 4 space. Just write that print the number is positive. The number is positive, and okay, then again click enter, and again we have to write if we want to continue, that means if we have more number of condition statements, then we can use elif. If in the first case it checks whether b is greater than 0. If b is greater than 0, then it comes to this block. Else if, the else if in the short form we call this else if as elif in Python. Elif b is equal to 0, and again just type on colon and click enter. Oh, okay, oh, not equal to 0. We are not assigning here, so we need to double equal. We have to use double equal. See the major difference between a equal to 2. A equal to 2 means a is equal to 2. That means a value is equal to 2. But a equal to 2 means it will compare whether a is equal to 2 or not. So we'll write from the beginning. That means I'm using if b is greater than or equal to 0, and print the number is greater than 2, and again elif. Okay, elif, I need to write that. So elif b is equal to 0. If we write equal to 0, it will assign b equal to 0. So it is not the thing. Here we need to give some condition. If b equal to 0 means it is not the condition, it is assignment, so it gives us the here error. Okay, invalid syntax. So here we have to type elif b equal to 0, and put a colon and click enter and maintain some indentation and print the number is 0. The number is 0. And again click enter and just type else. If it is not positive or if it is not equal to 0, then it should be negative. So yeah, I think here I missed. It is the number is positive number, but I write it is greater than 2. Just make it a correction, and here else I have to okay, else, and just put one colon and click enter and maintain the indentation and print. Okay, if you directly write print here from this place, then the Python will not come to understand it is under this else statement. So it will execute after the execution of the previous statement. So here print the number is negative. The number is negative. Okay, then I will click enter and again I will click enter. You can see the number is negative because the b value is equals to -4. Okay, just make here one correction. The number is positive since I use the arrow mark. Instead of positive I just taken this statement, but this has to be the number is positive. According to this situation, this has to be the number is positive. Like this we can use if elif statement. The if statement we can use the elif if any more number of conditions are there, and this else is a it is not it is like you can use if any conditions are there. If it is not there, that means you can only write if and elif. That's also enough. For example, c equals to 3. I will declare c equal to 3, and just I will type if what's that, if c is equal to 3, then I will type print okay, print the number is 3. Okay, the number is 3, and I will click enter and elif c is equal to 4. Maintain the indentation and just type print the number. Okay, print the number is 4. Okay, like this. Only it checks for the two conditions. Here I am not writing the else part, so it is the not compulsory part. If you have anything in the else part, then you can use else. Otherwise, here you see the number is 3 because here the number c equals to 3, and it checks if c is equal to 3. If it is equal, it is the true, so it comes to this block and it prints the 3. Actually, in this Python interpreter, we are using when I write this statement, what is that, c equals to 3. Okay, or here enter. Okay, here you see b equals to int, input, enter an integer. Okay, then it directly asks the when you press the enter, it directly asks the user to enter the integer, and you are entering some value. But if we write these codes together, that means b equal to int of input, this one, and all these things together in one file, and you save that file as a .py, and when you run that in using the Python interpreter or any other, as I told in the previous video, go to command prompt and type Python and that file name .py, then all these statements are executed one by one. So it becomes print the input. It asks the user to enter the number, and when you enter any number, it checks that number whether it is greater than or equal to 0 or anything, any conditions you can give. So this is what the if and elif statement. The syntax is like if any variable equal to or not equal, greater than, anything you can use. And elif part, it is not necessary always. If you have anything in the elif part or else part, then you can use that. Elif means it checks for the further more conditions. When you have more conditions, you can use this elif. And else means if all these above conditions are not satisfied, then it comes to that else part and it execute the whatever the programs that we write in that else part it will execute those codes line by line like that. Yeah, I think you hope understand about else if and the reading the output input from the reading some data from the user. Yeah, thank you.